Hello, today I'm going to be making some greetings cards using some alcohol ink backgrounds. I'm going to be showing you some different techniques for creating the backgrounds, and this is just a rundown of some of the things that we're going to be looking at today. You don't need a huge number of products. I'm working on yupo paper today, and I'll be using some lift ink, re-inker and ink pad, as well as my alcohol inks. So I'll move these out of the way and I'll come back and show you how I created them. Today I'm going to be working on yupo paper. This is a large A3 pad that I bought from Amazon. Worked out to be a good value option for me. And I've just cut one of the pieces down into some smaller pieces, just manageable for card front sort of sizes. It's not a particularly heavyweight yupo, but it's going to be matted onto the front of a card, so it's absolutely perfect for what I want. I've also got my alcohol inks. These are just a whole selection of the Ranger alcohol inks in different colours. I've got some isopropyl alcohol. You could use blending solution. I do have some blending solution, but not a lot. It's running out, so I tend to use the alcohol. It works perfectly well. I've also got my alcohol lift ink and the refill, because I thought we might do some effects using that. And some stencils. This is a Ranger stencil and a visible image stencil. And then I've got some paper artsy stamps. These are this year's new ones. And this is border stamp, I believe it's from Lost Coast Designs. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. I've had it quite a while. But I'm hoping to be using some of those today as well. Maybe also some die cuts. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what patterns we get, because as with any project with alcohol inks, it's all very unpredictable. You know, you don't know exactly what you're going to get until it's done. So to begin with, I'm going to get some colour on this piece of yupo. This is approximately 6 by 4 inches, that sort of size. And I've got sunshine yellow, limeade, sailboat blue and pistachio. I'm going to use those to begin with. And just going to randomly drop some colour on. There really is no point trying to be too particular about it. Just let the colour drip and run. I'm working on a non-stick craft mat in the background here, just because I don't want these, you know, if they go everywhere and they're going to stain, and it's just easy to clean them up off this mat. Just going to take a bit of the alcohol in a pipette and just drip a bit of that on. Don't forget to open a window or be in a well ventilated room. Fumes that you get from these products are not the nicest. Now I'm going to just give this a quick sort of move with my heat tool. Keep the heat tool well away really from the yupo. You don't want it to melt. And then you can go back in and repeat and add some more drops. That I do want to do is add in some little sort of dot details I quite like how where some of the alcohol has just sort of separated the ink here, we're getting some little speckles, and you can go and increase that sort of patterning with a paintbrush and a little bit of alcohol. So just got a palette here, and I'm going to pop a bit of the alcohol in there so that I can use a very fine paintbrush and add some small dots. Adding those extra little dots in, it just puts so much interest into the background design. So I'm going to set that aside to completely dry. As you can see, where it's thicker, it's still a little bit tacky, that's why it's shiny. So I'll just put that to dry, and I'll move on to another one. This time I'm going to use a different selection of colours. Let's see, we've got indigo and purple twilight, pitch black, and let's pick another colour there, mermaid. Let's go for those, some bit deeper, richer colours this time. And again, I'm going to begin by just dripping on randomly, letting the colours mix together. This time I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we've still got areas that are quite tacky, and going to put some transfer foil on. And transfer foil comes in lots of different colours, lots of different brands. And it adheres to a tacky surface. So this is absolutely perfect. Just rubbing over with my fingers, like one section at a time. Just working around until I've covered the whole piece. And the addition of that gold just really lifts the design, especially on dark colours like this, and gives a really nice sort of marbled effect. So again, going to put that aside just to completely finish drying. We don't want this to be still sticky when we come to put it on a card front. This time I'm going to use some nice bright warm colours. So I have Sunshine Yellow, Flamingo, Watermelon and Valencia. I'm going to again begin by just dripping them directly onto the yupo. I'm then going to blend them together using some foam, some felt on one of the applicator handles. I'm just going to use like a pouncing movement, twisting the handle as I go. And you can pop a little tiny bit of blending solution on the felt, and that will break up the colour in the background. I'm just going to pop a bit more of the watermelon. Again, I'm going to put just a couple of drops directly onto the felt pad this time. And this gives a much finer patterning, really nice, lots of tiny little dots all over. And again, really interesting background. So again, I'm going to pop that to one side. This time I'm going to be using the lifting ink pad, and this is one of the Paper Artsy stamps, the Lynn Perella stamps. So again, we need to apply our colour to our background, and I'm going to be using some deep, some of the more natural colours this time actually. So we've got Stream, Terracotta, Mermaid and Bottle. Just putting them directly onto the yupo here. And again, I'm going to give them a light blend with a piece of felt. So just pouncing this over the surface. I'm not going to be adding any extra alcohol or blending solution this time, as I want it to be a fairly deep colour. So that's pretty much dry, and we've got quite a nice soft blend over the surface of the yupo. So I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Lift Ink ink pad. Place this down in the centre. As you can see, it's removed the alcohol ink from the background. What I need to do now is blot the surface to remove some more of the Lift Ink that's sort of left sitting on there. Just blot it, don't rub at it. And there we have this beautiful negative image. Then I can take another piece of yupo, line my stamp up again in the middle, and transfer that design over, giving us 2 for the price of 1. So just need to set that one aside to dry. This time I'm going to be using a stencil. This is a Tim Holtz stencil, and the alcohol Lift Ink re-inker. As always, need to get some background colour down onto the yupo. And I've got pitch black, sailboat blue, indigo and mermaid this time. So I'm going to lay my stencil where I want the design, taking a clean piece of felt, this time on with this tool. I'm going to apply the Lift Ink re-inker to the felt, and dab it through the stencil to lift that design. And as we did before with the stamp, we need to blot the excess ink away. And that leaves that lovely flourish design from the stencil. So I'll put this to one side to dry with all the others. And we'll move on to the final background that I'm going to create today, which is going to be a sort of pale, swirling, very sort of subtle effect. And for this I'm going to use some lighter colours. So I think we'll take Cool Perry, Pebble, Shell Pink, and just looking what else we've got in here, Cloudy Blue. There's 4 nice quite pale pastel shades. And I'm also going to use the isopropyl alcohol. So I'll get that ready with my pipette. And I'm going to begin by putting the alcohol onto the yupo. Quite a lot, sort of just smooshed all over the surface there. And then I'm going to drip in some of these colours. I'm quite happy with that. I really like the subtle colour tones that we've got there. So I'm going to clean this out of the way. I'm going to make these backgrounds up into some actual card samples. But let's have a little rundown of what we've got. So we've got this lovely pastel effect here. And by keep sort of drying and adding more and drying and adding more, we get these sort of little lines in the background, which is really, really nice, almost like a sort of smoky effect. So we've got that. We have our negative stencil design there that we used with the Lift Ink re-inker. We have our 2 backgrounds made with the Lynn Perella Paper Artsy stamp using the Lift Ink ink pad. we have our lovely sort of finely textured background that we used, we applied using the felt pad, and we got this really nice, almost as like a stone effect. We have our foiled background where we added the gold foiling where the ink was still tacky. Beautiful rich colours there. And we have our background that we embellished with lots of little white dots using the alcohol just to dilute and move that background ink. So as soon as I've made these up into some samples, I shall be back to show you the finished articles. So here I am, I've finished off my cards, and I'm really happy with the variety of backgrounds that I've got and how versatile they are for just making some great greetings cards. So this one here I finished with a die cut. This is a Sizzix die cut and just a rub-on that's got the definition of botanical. This beautiful foiled background didn't need a great deal, so I've just matted it onto a little bit of gold card and then die cut a word. It's a Gemini word from Crafter's Companion. This beautiful bright orange, really striking. Again, used another one of the Crafter's Companion Gemini words dies, and you know, I don't think it needs anything else. It's just really pretty the way that it is. Then we come on to our lift ink, positive and negative images, and just sort of matted them onto some copper card and some pearlescent card and different coloured cards. Finished off with, this is like a Tim Holtz chipboard word. This is one of the clipping stickers. Again, don't really need a great deal else, you know, the image is really striking. Then we come on to the one that we did with the stencil and the lift ink re-inker. Matted that onto some silver card, used a lovely rub-on here with a sentiment across. And then finally our pretty pastel background. Another Sizzix die cut, just matted onto some pearlescent card, and one of the clipping stickers. Hope you'll agree that, you know, a lot that you can do with your alcohol inks. Just enjoy playing around, make some really interesting backgrounds, which then you can turn into some beautiful, unique greetings cards. As always, if you enjoyed this, please leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be back again soon with another video. But for now, bye.